Previously on Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5!
Oh, you're here early? The video doesn't start for the... Oh, I get it. You thought I was going to do a little bit like I've been doing with the last couple of shows. You think I care that much? Fuck this show. It's stupid enough on its own. Yo, what is good, my duel-tainers, and welcome back to the downfall of Yu-Gi-Oh! While last time I praised Arc 5 for being interesting, dare I say, even sometimes watchable, now is when the show starts to show its many flaws in the Arc League Championship arc, which is Arc 2 of Arc 5. So what's the flaw this one introduced? Well, it's a problem with escalation. That is the process of the stakes, the situation, the tension becoming more and more intense as the story progresses. You ever play a JRPG? You know how all of those usually start with a kid in some rando village with very little knowledge of the outside world and end with them punching God? If that doesn't just happen, there's a series of events taking place over several dozens of hours that flow naturally together as they escalate in scope. Out of context, it's funny to hear these games start off so simple and end so biblical, but those who've played them know that they did get there logically in the context of the world the story built. Even Yu-Gi-Oh! Has had natural progression. We've seen it, with Yugi starting off as a kid just wanting friends, solving a puzzle, ends with him finding the soul of an evil bandit to save the world in a children's card game. 5G starts as a guy wanting revenge on a friend who betrayed him, and ends with him saving the time-space continuum. Zexal was a bit stranger, starting with Yuma meeting a magic naked spaceman and a necklace his dad gave him, and ends with him saving the universe from his school bully. Hell, even GX has rising action, starting with kids chilling out with the crew in the schoolyard, and ends with Jaden saving the multiverse from the literal embodiment of depression. Again, out of context, these sound ridiculous, but there are over 100 episodes, hours and hours of plot that fill in gaps that explain how it ended up this way. Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 does not do any of that. Because while the first 26 episodes started off mundane, mostly setting up stuff we will learn about more today, actually, that big escalation part, which usually happens at the end of the show, is going to happen right now in the second arc, barely a fourth of the way through the whole show. And because they get to the big stakes right away in the middle of a tournament arc, by the way, they have to explain a lot more, a lot faster. So this arc becomes bloated with new characters, new backstories, new terminology, new enemies, a bunch of twists, and even then, because it's still the beginning of the story, they can't reveal everything just yet. So they leave stuff out they plan to explain later, which on your first watch just makes everything confusing on what the fuck is happening. Sure, now having watched the show, I get it and follow along with it, but I kid you not, when I was watching this for the first time several months ago, there were a lot of moments where I had to pause because I needed to process the many information dumps they shoved down my gullet. Because at the same time, I have to pay attention to duels, because yeah, remember, this is during a tournament arc, and if you haven't been paying attention to other Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows that actually do this well, you get all that pesky plot and exposition out of the way first, and then get to the tournament arc, so you can just have duel after duel, we can keep the action going, we can watch the stuff people come for. But Arc 5 decides to be bold, different, innovative, deciding to intertwine storytelling and dueling, which kills any pacing either of those things try to have. And before we begin, I want you to remember as we go through this, everything I'm about to tell you in this Cliff Notes version, because I'm shortening things, is 26 episodes, which is the same length as the last arc. So without further ado, let's dig into one of the most convoluted arcs in anime, the Arc League Championship arc of Arc 5. And it's the opening ceremonies of the tournament, where we learn all the kids from yugioh are in the tourney. Yuya, Zuzu, and Sora are in the junior division, and the Jobber kids are in the youth division. The opening ceremonies begin, and Declan and his mom come out to the crowd, along with a kid in the hood we've never seen before. Now, I'm not kidding when I talk about this kid, that they are the most important character in the entire show. I'm serious. And the best part is, you will never know why they are the most important character in the entire universe. I've seen this show, and I have no idea what the fuck their deal is. As the ceremonies continue, we see a bunch of other participating duel schools that do not matter. We do see Aura is back to Zuzu's annoyance because she still thinks Yuya is her duel mate. And a guy named Grizzlepike Jones, these names, man, who is actually a bully from Yuya's past that does not like Yugioh or Gong. He's a meanie. And when the Leo Institute come out, Yuya and Zuzu are shocked to see among them, Shay is participating, and Julia's not trying to kill him. We then see in a flashback that Declan's condition for him to duel Shay is that Shay must first participate in this tournament, because this whole thing is really a way for Declan to find duelists to help fight his father. Yeah, he must really be a Kaiba wannabe with these daddy issues. But he does also pique Shay's interest when he says there's a fusion summoner in the tournament, and someone who has pioneered a new summoning method. Nico, who's the commentator, shows the round 1 matchups. Gong is against the bully Grizzlepike, Yuya is against Silvio, and Zuzu is against Julia. And Julia calls out Zuzu again, and she responds asking about Shay, and Julia surprisingly responds, Shay has been part of their school for years. Like seriously, Declan has a mind manipulation machine, and we're just glossing over it. What the fuck? Well, the final one to pay attention to is Sora, who's going up against Shay. But the first of the yugiohs to duel are the kid jobbers, and the girl jobber's opponent is the weird hooded kid with Declan, we now know is named Riley. While girl jobber gets support from her friends and even her parents, Riley, when looking at Henrietta, has kind of a quiet panic attack, and just goes to begin the duel. And he smacks her, wasn't even close, girl jobber continues to job. Also, Riley fusion summons, and yeah, that's it for them. I thought the intro was cute. Well, the next duel is Zuzu versus Julia, the rematch I don't care about. And despite having the broken-ass Brilliant fusion, Melodious fusion monsters are also broken, I guess, even without pendulums, so Zuzu gets her revenge, continuing in the tournament. The next duel is Gong versus Grizzlepike. He's one of those old-school Weevil-type duelists, using tricks as he tricks Yuya to go to a spot to get beat up to make Gong think Yuya is in trouble, making him not play properly, but Yuya is fine on his own, and Gong, seeing he should have trusted his friend, can take care of himself, is able to win. Yeah, if you can't tell by me not talking about them, the beginning duels are a lot of nothing. They're mostly just the duels, which, like I said, is what you want in a tournament arc. But you may remember, I said they also try to cram a lot of exposition into this arc. And we're 5 episodes in, and none of that has happened yet. Yeah, I bet you thought I meant the whole arc was going to be exposition. Oh, dear audience. We're going to backload that shit to hell. The next duel is Yuya versus Silvio. Now, this one was more interesting. Mainly because Yuya and Silvio have actual history we got to see in this show. Also because in this duel, Silvio again has a new deck with Yosenjus, which are cool, I kinda like them. And not just that, as Silvio reveals, this archetype is a pendulum archetype. That's right, Declan finally perfected pendulum cards. And to debut them, he let Silvio use them in his duel against Yuya. And unlike when Declan used them against him, Yuya is more collected this time, and instead of being sad, he's not the pendulum guy anymore. He turns this into true duel-taining, playing up 2 pendulum users going at it live for the first time. So much that even Silvio gets into the duel-taining groove, but still loses cause protagonist. And now Yuya and Silvio are kind of friends, since they both put on a good show for the crowd. But Declan says immediately take away Silvio's cards, because now that they perfected pendulums, it's time to start mass production. That goes nowhere, it doesn't matter. Now I know what you're thinking, I'm tired of watching all these children's card games and want to hear some stupid lore. Well, guess what? The next duel is going to give us that and then some. Because the next duel is between Sora and Shay Obsidian. Yeah, that's his last name, I don't think I ever mentioned it. Guy just screams sad boy edgelord. And to really see what Shay is made of, Declan decides to choose a specific dueling field.
Looks like we'll be battling in Neo Heartland City!
What?
I knew this would be a perfect setting for him. This field is a present from me to Shay, to help him get his game face on.
Yep, Neo Heartland City. If you haven't put the pieces together yet, it'll make sense soon. So the duel begins, and despite Yuya warning Sora about Shay's real damage cards, Sora sees this as an opportunity to duel-tain like Yuya, put on a good show for the crowd. Alright, it's your turn, Shay. What do you got for us?
The funnest show they've ever seen? The days of dueling for fun no longer exist for me and my friends. Dueling is about survival, the joy and happiness, the sounds of people laughing and cheering. It was all taken away that day.
Okay, cool, bud. Well, Sora continues to have a blast, calming off, showing the crowd some good stuff. Alright, Shay, now it's your turn. Show us what you got.
Losing wasn't an option. Against an enemy with overwhelming power, it took everything I had just to defend myself and pull through. Without an organized resistance, we struggled just to hang on. Even as our numbers shrank.
Cool. Can you stop putting the camera on this guy? Well, unfortunately for Sora, Shay's anger over this field and Sora's fusions is too overwhelming for him. And the whole time, Shay talks about how Sora's people destroyed everything he loved. And being backed into a corner, Sora decides to stop messing around.
You think I'm through? You think I'm one bit worried about losing to you? You were no match for us when we attacked you, and you're no match for me now!
And now Sora's talking crazy!
Despite that declaration, Shay still wins using his rank up cards. Yeah, they're still in this, sadly. And he practically beats Sora to near death, well, Not that bad, but close enough. Declan forbids Shay from turning him into a card though as he walks away. That night after Sora's duel, finally, the characters decide to start talking about all the weird shit that's happened, like Shay being with Leo, Julia seeming to have forgotten who he really is, Sora's crash out, and the mysterious Yuto. And you can tell they haven't discussed this stuff before, cause Gong is surprised to hear all this. Yuya is also surprised to hear about this, especially that Yuto looks exactly like him. Yeah, Zuzu never told anyone about the strange things she saw, like her lifelong friends. I'm serious when I say she makes some of the worst decisions in the entirety of the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. Just you wait. She also tells them about Lulu and pretty much all the stuff Yuto told her, and three still have no idea what's going on. But there might be something bigger than all of them happening right now, and somehow Yuya and Zuzu are involved in some way. Now normally, like back in GX, I'd praise a Yu-Gi-Oh show for having its characters discuss events and try to figure out what's going on, but considering Zuzu held this information from everyone for no reason, fuck Zuzu. They're discussing this outside the hospital Sora is in, and Yuto decides to come pay him a visit, asking about Lulu, but Sora says he has no idea who he's talking about. And when guards hear the commotion, Sora and Yuto escape. Dude, fucking hell, oh my god. It's fucking 12:30, there have been no cars until I decided to start recording. I don't know why this keeps happening. It's seriously pissing me off. Seeing the ruckus, Yuya and Zuzu and Gong find that Sora is gone and split up to look for him. And meanwhile, Declan, knowing Sora escapes, says not to send every cop after him, they're running a tournament and can't alarm the normies in town. So he tries to find him through cameras, and they find him at Central Park, confronting Yuto. Because Sora really wants Shay, he wants his salty run back. Yuto continues to ask about Lulu and his other comrades, but Sora just mocks him, saying they were all turned into cards and they'll never come back. Angered by his words, Yuto duels Sora, and Declan prevents Shay from going to help because he needs to see what's going on. In the middle of the duel though, Yugioh arrives and sees Yuto for the first time, shocked that he does in fact look exactly like him, allegedly. And then he talks about something called the Resistance, who's fighting Sora's people. And it looks like Sora is about to lose to another Xyz summoner, but jumping into the duel is Yuya to save him. Yeah, in this show people can join other person's duels at any time, making it a battle royale type of duel. If you remember those, I mentioned them sometimes in other shows. Unlike Yuya though, Yuto does not react at all to Yuya having the same face as him. And Sora notices Yuto has been holding back, taking this as an insult, but it's actually because Yuto doesn't really want to hurt Sora, but he has to. Still not knowing what's going on, Yuya knows that Sora is his friend, and to both their surprise, he says he won't let Yuto hurt Sora anymore. But when Yuya summons his Odd-Eyed Dragon with Yuto's Rebellion Dragon out, something weird happens to both of them. This causes Yuto to start paying more attention to Yuya than Sora, who is getting angrier that Yuto seems to be ignoring him and not taking him seriously, and that Yuya decided to butt in. So Yuya decides to ask again, what the hell is going on? Why do they hate each other so much? What's this stuff about Lulu, the Xyz, and this fusion stuff? Who gives a shit? And then Sora reveals what has been happening. Sort of.
When my people put their foot down and gained control of the Xyz dimension, they all fled like rats on a sinking ship.
Left so we could fight another day against those from your fusion dimension. There's a fusion dimension? And an Xyz dimension? And you're bouncing between them?
That's right. Dimensions. We did time travel, we did space travel, so there's really only one direction left. Multiverses. I mean, technically we've done that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Several times already, but this is the first time where it's like the main focus of the story. As Sora says, he's here to conquer and the top student from Duel Academy, and has a special mission that he cannot fail. And when he's about to bring out one of the strongest fusions, suddenly he gets teleported away to Yuya's surprise. Shay thinks he ran away, but Declan noticed a program in Sora's duel disc activated, probably because he revealed too much. That's when we cut to this Duel Academy and see Sora was brought back there forcibly, as we then see a bald man with a cybernetic eye being informed of Sora's blabbermouth, but the man doesn't seem too worried as long as Sora didn't reveal too much, as he looks at some strange green machine. Spoilers, I've actually already said the name of this machine several times, see if you can guess it in the comments. Back with Yuya, he demands more answers from Yuto when, like before, he notices he's really not trying to hurt Yuya in the duel. And Yuto reveals his people of the Xyz dimension never dueled to win, they dueled to make people happy and have fun. But everything changed when Duel Academy Nation attacked. Only the king of games, master of all four summoning mechanics— oh wait, sorry, I'm confusing it with a good show. Yuya is having a hard time believing there are actually multiple dimensions and they're fighting a war, and Declan back at the base muses it's due to Leo Akiba. But then thinking about it, Yuya asks, well, if there's synchro and Xyz, and Yuto confirms that yes, there's also a synchro dimension. And Yuya asks, well, what the hell are recalled? And Yuya says— sorry, Yuto, I'm gonna get confused a lot. And Yuto says it's the standard dimension, the main one all the others revolve around. Yu-Gi-Oh! 616, or whatever. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was told that there are multiple dimensions with people that look exactly like me going around having a war with each other, I'd be freaking the fuck out. But Yugioh seems to be more concerned with the fact that people are dueling to destroy and hurt people instead of having fun and entertain, like his dad taught him. Oh yeah, did I mention this duel has had a lot of flashbacks? Like a lot. Get used to it. Wait, there's more, cause right at this moment, a bright light shines and all the cameras go down as a synchro summoner on his duel runner that we saw in Yuto's flashback decides to show up, coincidentally. And Yugioh's pretty shocked when he removes his helmet.
Would someone mind telling me why there's now another guy who looks just like me? Because this is starting to get really strange here.
I just love that as he says that they all look like him, and it cuts to all three of them in sequence, they're drawn completely differently. It's just baffling that the animators don't know about tracing. Well, this turbo duelist seems to be really pissed at Yuto for some reason, immediately challenging him to a duel. And Yuto says he won't lose to a fusion dimension crony. The guy says he has no idea about fusion and that his name is Yugioh.
To save me from a fusion follower like you, No-Go. So your name's No-Go? I warned you before! Don't call me No-Go! The name's Yugioh!
I refuse to make the joke. And the two begin to duel, completely ignoring Yugioh, who is shook another guy showed up with his face. And it seems Yugioh also happens to have a dragon named after his prime summoning mechanic.
Beat your wings to whip up a whirlwind of destruction! I Synchro Summon! Clear Wing Synchro Dragon!
And like with Yugioh, something strange happens when multiple dragons are on the field. This time, Yugioh barely feels it, and Yuto and Yugioh's eyes glow, and they both start dueling very aggressively, almost like they're trying to kill each other. Yugioh tries to get them to stop, reminding Yuto of what he said, that dueling is for fun and not to hurt people, and then Yuto snaps out of his weird trance, but Yugioh does not, attacking him, winning the duel. Yugioh then snaps out of his trance as Yugioh runs to Yuto and a weird light envelops them. And it seems Yuto is on death's door and hands Yugioh his Dark Rebellion Exige Dragon, saying that he knows with this card Yugioh can do what he couldn't, make people smile through dueling. He believes he can do it. I believe these cards can just stop fucking going outside my window. That's when the bright light gets even brighter as Zuzu shows up and her bracelet goes off again, wondering if Yuto is nearby. When she arrives, she only sees Yugioh, who collapses. Later, it seems Zuzu took Yugioh away as Declan's people arrive at the scene, retrieving Yuto's duel disc, with Declan ordering them to bring it to him to study. That's when we cut back to Duel Academy again and see that cyborg man, who everyone calls the Professor, informing some purple-haired guy that they examined Sora's memories. I guess like Declan, everyone got a weird memory machine. And that in them he noticed Zuzu, saying she is the fourth piece he's been missing, and tells Purple Hair, who he calls Yuri, to bring her to him.
Find her and bring her here, Yuri.
If you don't get why they zoomed in on Yuri, he also looks like Yugioh. Allegedly. So yeah, all that I just told you, by the way, was 3 episodes, which sounds like a long time, but you have to remember, in between all of that is dueling and flashbacks. You see, the show has a habit where they will have a stretch of just dueling and nothing going on for like 10 episodes, then suddenly for 3, sometimes even 4 episodes, they will dump a shitload of exposition on you while also mixing it up with some dueling, so they can't really break up the exposition naturally, cause once there's a break in someone's combo, they just go on for 5 minutes about some shit. And of course, tons of flashbacks, cause I guess they didn't have a big animation budget or something, so they gotta reuse it. Did I mention that every time Yugioh Pendulum summons, they reuse the entire pendulum summoning animation? The entire thing. Even when he sets a new pendulum scale. If Yugioh's dueling, guarantee 1 to 3 minutes of that duel is that animation. As far as the story is concerned, once again, they're trying to cram in too much. They really should have paced this out just revealing Sora and the dimensions and stuff, because that's some big news, but then again, they only have 10 more episodes until season 2, so they throw in Yugioh and try to set up this mystery of multiple Yugiohs and this trance state that they're in, and now Zuzu's a part of it, and then there's another Yugioh. It's just too much. And again, this was only 3 episodes. They don't give any information a chance to breathe. And the worst part is, you guys are not truly understanding how bad the pacing is here because you're just getting the Cliff Notes version of me telling you through a YouTube video, and I'm intentionally shortening things, you know, for lengthwise. I'm not trying to be here all day. And it's not going to stop because, again, mixed in with this tournament arc, we are going to get more backstory and more new characters. Yes, we're not done. We're adding more as this arc continues on. I hope you're taking notes because I'm not going to repeat myself. Sometime later, damn, Mom. Yugioh is still out of it from his encounter with himself, I guess. And Yoko and Zuzu are looking after him. Aura shows up too, she doesn't really matter that much. She gets OTK'd in her duel, Fs. Yugioh does eventually wake up and Zuzu fills them in on what happened in the tournament. Find out the fat German jobber kid, that's Frederick, I don't think I ever mentioned, he's German in the dub for some reason, dueled Riley as well, and in their duel he used synchro summoning. Seems just like his big bro Declan, Riley has mastered various summoning methods. Yugioh also tells Zuzu about Yuto and Yugioh clashing, that they both look like him, and that he now has Rebellion Xyz Dragon in his deck. With you remembering Yuto gave it to him before seemingly dying. Spoilers, he's kinda not, you'll see what I mean. And Zuzu surprisingly believes this alternate dimension stuff really easily. I mean, I know they're childhood friends and she trusts him, allegedly. I personally have more questions, but I guess after all she's seen, I guess it makes sense to her. Also wondering because of hearing about Lulu and Yugioh's predicament, she wonders if she has other people from these dimensions that look like her too. And after all this, the two finally decide they want answers, especially if they're involved. And well, Yuto and Sora are gone. There's really only one person who knows anything about these alternate dimensions at this point, Shay. So the two heads of the tournament area to confront him. Meeting up with the Yushos, who are all shocked to see Yugioh has recovered so quickly, and so are the Leo kids. And the two instantly ask them where Shay is. And even though Julia tries to be her usual kind of bitchy self, they demand to speak to him now. They don't have time for any bullshit. But they reveal not even they talk to him much. He's always off doing his own thing. And right now, Shay is confronting Declan and his people about where Yuto is, but they give him nothing. And I would think Shay would be a bit more aggressive about finding Yuto, you know, his only friend and comrade who he came here with that last episode he called literally the hope of his rebellion.
Who's Yuto?
The one who will save us all.
But whatever, the plot's gonna plot. Back at the stadium, since they can't talk to Shay, the kids stay to watch the next duel between Kit and Iggy Arlo from the Bandit Warrior Academy. Yes, that is the name of a school for teaching people how to play children's card games. Yu-Gi-Oh, everybody. And we see they do kind of live up to that name, as Iggy plays physically. When going for action cards, he physically attacks Kit, actually beating him up to the point he can't move anymore, which is stupid. That's not against the rules. How the hell is physically assaulting your opponent legal in an official card game tournament? I know it's action duels and it's full contact or whatever, but even Kaiba had issues when people had a chance of getting injured in his tournaments. Kaiba! Well, the reason we're showing Kit getting his ass kicked is because Iggy is Yuya's next opponent, and he does not approve of Iggy's style of dueling, especially when thinking back to Yuto's words, and declares he will beat him with his style of dueling. Some duel-taining. We got to the next day with Yugioh versus Iggy, and it doesn't go well for him at all, because Iggy just beats him up. Like, what were you expecting was going to happen, Yugioh? But through determination or plot armor, some kind of bullshit like that, Yugioh does manage to get one, as Iggy puts him at 100 life points. And it looks like Yugioh's going to lose. A push to his limit, both physically and mentally, and card gamey. Suddenly, Yugioh sees Yuto appear in front of him. Yugioh's eyes glow, and then...
I build the overlay network! I Xyz summon Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon!
How does he have Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon? That monster belongs to Yuto, not him!
Oh, and it's important that this happened because Iggy's whole deck revolves around his opponent's monsters having levels, but Xyz monsters have ranks, if you remember, so this whole deck strategy falls apart. It's pretty important. And also, Yugioh pretty much destroys him with Rebellion, shocking everyone watching that the Yugioh who was duel-taining earlier mercilessly takes out his opponent. And Yugioh comes back to his senses, sort of realizing what he did and how he went against his duel-taining. Also watching is Shay, who of course immediately goes to confront Yugioh as to why he has Yuto's card. Declan says, "Don't impede on my tournament," but he ignores him and leaves, because really, Declan, what were you expecting he was going to do when he sees that some guy that looks exactly like his friend who's missing has his card? Think of it, does Shay ever question why Yugioh looks like Yuto? I don't think that's ever brought up. But before Declan does anything about that, he sees the next duel has a DQ. Reed Pepper won. Yeah, he's back too. Because his opponent, Dipper, never showed up. Declan is surprised Dipper would miss a duel, but is alerted of big fusion energy detected hours ago. And in a security feed, we see Dipper lose to some girl, and turn him into a card. And when zooming in on this girl, Declan is shocked to see she looks just like Zuzu, especially since Zuzu, at this time, is having her duel. That's when Declan realizes another Xyz summoner is going to be dueling, and he decides to go to the stadium personally. And he does manage to intercept the girl and her companion from getting the Xyz summoner. Declan even seeing she has the same bracelet as Zuzu. She does not like Declan intervening and challenges him, but her companion named Barrett from the hit series Final Fantasy VII says he'll handle Declan. Declan wins, he's more of a Final Fantasy VIII guy, I guess, and it seems the girl who threw this duel we learned is named Selena.
Like I told everyone else a billion times, I've decided to go to the standard dimension. There's nothing you can do to stop me.
I'm going with you, Selena.
Does not seem to care much about Barrett losing, as she just tries to walk away. and Declan stops her, saying he has a story for her that may change her whole world. That's right, gang, it's everyone's favorite part of anime, tons of exposition while two characters stand around in a room doing nothing. Because it seems Declan and Selena have met before, years ago, when Declan went to the fusion dimension, flashback. Apparently Leo Akiba was kind of a deadbeat dad, never around, so looking for him in his lab, Declan stumbled upon an interdimensional transporter. Remember, every series gets one. This one has multiple, obviously. And baby Declan finds himself at Duel Academy in the fusion dimension, where he stumbles upon Selena, who's upset she was not selected for a special mission like her comrades, and she acts like a spoiled brat whining that she didn't get her way. Get used to that. Declan decides to jump in and help her, much to her annoyance, as Leo shows up, or as Duel Academy calls him, the Professor.
I admire your spirit, but the fact remains you must stay here.
But why? You always say I'm one of your best students. Doesn't that mean I'm ready to fight?
Do not concern yourself with what it means.
Declan is shocked to see his dad, but Daddy does not acknowledge him, instead seemingly really invested in Selena, apparently keeping her trapped on this island despite her great dueling abilities, and she demands to be in the first invasion wave of the Exes dimension. Declan angrily cuts in, asking why Leo disappeared without telling him or his mom, and Leo asks if he crossed dimensions just to ask a stupid question like that. Surprising Declan, he's in another dimension, as guards restrain him and take Selena away. Leo explains to Declan this is the fusion dimension, and Duel Academy is his base he will use to accomplish his goal of uniting all the dimensions into one.
You're going to invade other worlds? Like a conqueror? Why would you do that?
I'm planning to create one supreme world.
One supreme world?
That's right, Duel Academy and Arc 5 are basically Nazis. Then Leo puts a one-way transporter on Declan, saying he will not return till his mission is done, and Declan is returned to the standard dimension. Back in the present, Selena does not seem to care about any of that, only to accomplish her goal, as she heard Sora was beaten by a skilled duelist from the Exes dimension, and came here to beat him, showing her skill to the Professor, which is why she targeted Dipper and that other guy. Declan says he doesn't know any Exes summoners, and that Selena should join him instead, because even if she's not here under Leo's orders, if she just goes around doing whatever she wants, he will consider her an enemy. Barrett, hearing all this, activates his duelist return function, saying he has alerted Duel Academy of their location. Selena realizes now they'll come after her, and runs off, determined to find the Exes summoner who beat Sora, while Declan goes to alert his men that Duel Academy is on the way. What, I don't know, a facetious comment about every bit of expository dialogue, we'd be here all day. We cut back to the yugiohs as they see the top 16 announced. The important ones are Yuya, Zuzu, Gong, and Shay. Also, Reed made it because Dipper DQ'd, which excites Yoko a little too much. How do I put it? They portray her being a fan of Reed Pepper like she wants to fuck him. You know, I'm all for a cougar, but again, these are supposed to be boys in middle school. Most of them want to go for a real man like me. Anyway, that's our top 16. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Duels, we see Sora has recovered and called in by Leo, who gives him what he wants, the ability to go back to the standard dimension. Sora wants revenge on Shay, but Leo says that's not his priority. He instead needs to bring back Selena, and Sora is shocked at first, thinking it's Zuzu, and to make sure he accomplishes this, Leo sends him with 9 other jobbers called the Obelisk Force. The next day in Standard, the top 16 begins, and it's revealed it will all be a battle royale that will take place across the whole city. It seems Declan did this knowing that the fusion dimension is on the way, so it won't look so weird if random dueling happens on the streets, and sends the top 8 of the senior division, who have been informed of this stuff, to take out any invaders. Also part of this is Shay, who's the backup in case they fail, saying his job is to still participate in the tournament and see who's worthy of being a Lancer. Back at the stadium, Nico explains the rules that scattered around the city are pendulum cards, and you must find 2 in order to duel, then ante them, and the winner gets the loser's pendulums, and you're not out of the tournament if you lose, kind of. In fact, I noticed they don't really give a loser win condition. I think ultimately it's like you have to have the most pendulum cards after a set amount of time, I think anyway. Also, a big arc system machine, I guess, has made it so the city is divided into 4 different zones, like field spells. The top 16 begins. Man, it's really unfortunate that you're not getting the amount of crap they have crammed in the past 4 episodes. That's because obviously for this I'm trying my best to make this story seem cohesive, and I'm cutting out a ton of fluff that does not matter or come up again. Because let me tell you, the amount of times characters sit around in one room, expositing to each other, is amazing. Truly a feat I have not seen in most anime, despite being what most anime is. Now we have the last bit of this arc, the top 16, and yes, well, most of it is duels. Because of that, a lot of the plot that happens so fast or is brushed over so nonchalantly, when watching it, you have to pay attention, or you will miss some pretty important information. I'm going to try my best to continue to make this make sense, but it might be hard considering on top of all the exposition, they decide to, of course, introduce more new characters. Yes, we're still not done. Gotta love Yu-Gi-Oh! So Zuzu and Gong end up finding each other and get roped into a tag duel with some other jobbers that will never come back, so who cares? More importantly, Yuya gets ambushed by some other jobbers from Iggy's school, running revenge, not really for Iggy, but for dishonoring their school, I guess. Oh, and everyone is pendulum summoning now, of course. Being 2-on-1 and again trying to prove he doesn't duel violently, Yuya gets creamed, pretty much unable to stand. But then, to the surprise of all three of them, a mysterious fourth duelist steps in, saving Yuya, who none of them have ever seen before.
2-on-1 doesn't seem like a fair game. Mind if I join in? Cause I love the limelight.
Penalty, 2,000 life points.
Leo Institute's exchange student, Dennis McField.
So this Dennis McField interrupts, and it seems a rule for this tourney is an intrusion penalty. If you join in on a duel already in progress when you're not dueling, you receive a 2,000 point damage penalty. Half your starting life points, which is really harsh considering it was kind of designed to be a battle royale. Is that not the point? Apparently Dennis is helping Yuya because he's also a dual tainer and likes to cut a Yu-Gi-Oh's jib, so he helps out with his before mages. Something interesting is he uses Xyz summoning. And wandering around the city watching the duels is Selena, who sees Dennis Xyz summon. Speaking of, Yuya realizes that despite Dennis's help, he will need Yuto's dragon to win this, but remembers last time, and it's not such a hot idea. Like I said in the first video, Yuya solves his problems like he does every time, remembering his dad's words and then being like, wait, I gotta put on a show. So summoning the Xyz dragon, Yuya is able to remain himself, dual-tating like never before, beating the bandit warrior jobbers. Yuya thanks Dennis, and to his surprise, Dennis speaks like he knows Yuya's dad, saying that it was like dueling with him. Metaphorically, of course. The thing is, I actually like Dennis, not as a character, you'll see why. Despite what we are going to learn about him in like 5 minutes, he barely matters. But his personality is great, and I love his voice actor, Daniel Edwards, where he plays up the theatrics saying certain things like summoning a monster with so much extra stank on it.
My name's Dennis McField. I'm an exchange student from LID School for the Performing Arts. I exceed summon. Performage Trapeze Magician!
Oh yeah, Zuzu won the tag duel after Gong lost, but again, he's still in it because losing conditions don't matter for a tournament, I guess. After his duel, Yuya wanders around into a ruined area and comes face to face with Shay, and both of them immediately try to ask all sorts of questions, with Shay accusing Yuya of doing something to Yuto because he has his card. I'm surprised he doesn't also ask why Yuya looks like Yuto, but he's angry, I guess. But then both of them are attacked by the Knights of the Duel Disc, guess that's the name of a school, and they really want revenge on Shay because he brutally beat one of their comrades earlier in the tournament. Their attacks cause Yuya to almost be knocked off the platform that they're all standing on, when he sees 3 helmeted figures in blue running around. And when he gets back up, he sees not just them, but Sora is back as well, and the Obelisk Force with him take care of the Knights while Sora deals with Shay, and Yuya tries to get to them so he can talk to Sora. Keklin spots Duel Academy and cuts the feed to that area as everyone focuses on Zuzu, who meets Dennis, and the two begin a duel. Zuzu loses because she sucks, and immediately after, Selena shows up. Seeing she looks just like her, Zuzu mistakes her for Lulu, while Dennis thinks they're twins. Selena does not seem to care there is a girl who looks exactly like her with the exact same bracelet. Yeah, I don't really like Selena either. She's supposed to be this tough, independent duelist that don't need help from anyone, really. But she comes off as a cunt, because she's so laser focused on her goal. She does things and acts in a way that's supposed to be stubborn and headstrong, but she comes off as more of a idiot, and not just looking like her, she's also just as useless as Zuzu. But yeah, I don't like her just because she really does not want to listen to anyone for any reason, and spoiler, she sticks around and remains like this, which makes a decision she's about to make in a few minutes really contradictory to the entire character we've seen so far. Almost like they didn't think about it. Anyway, Selena challenges Dennis, thinking he's the Xyz summoner she's looking for. While back at the ruins, Sora finally corners Shay as Yuya catches up to the Obelisk Force, who beat the Knights and turn them into cards. Yuya, seeing this, starts seeing visions of people running from a burning city, as once again he loses control and attacks the Obelisk Force with anger and hatred, the cool emotions. And look, you have to understand, it's here where I need to give up. So I'm going to be cutting between a bunch of different stuff happening at once now. I've been trying to tell each segment individually, but now with all the shit happening, it's kind of impossible. So we're at the part of the show now when I was watching this for the first time, and I started getting lost, because simultaneously we have several duels going on between several major characters and minor ones, new characters getting introduced, yes, we're still not done, old characters returning, more exposition, and it's not paced well. Because let me tell you, we are at episode 45. Everything I'm about to tell you from here on out takes place within 5 episodes. Remember back in the day, old Yu-Gi-Oh, 5 episodes was like one really important duel that it focused on. There's a flashback here or there. That was pretty standard practice back then, I guess, too. But now, we're going to get way more dueling with flashbacks and all the other shit I mentioned. Like I said, take notes. Back with Dennis and the annoying girl, Zuzu determines annoying girl 2 is not Lulu when she fusion summons. Meanwhile, Yugioh confronts and duels all 3 members of the Obelisk Force that are with Sora. Meanwhile, Shay and Sora begin their duel. Meanwhile, Dennis, figuring Selena is after him for Xyz summoning, he decides not to, so he can prove he's not some Xyz fugitive that she calls him. But again, she's headstrong, and she just gets mad. And after this point, despite fusing, Zuzu, genius detective she is like, wait, maybe this girl is from the fusion dimension. I mean, maybe, Zuzu, what proof do you have?
I fusion summon!
There's really no conclusive evidence. Meanwhile, Yugioh is dueling the Obelisk Force, who all use ancient gear monsters. Yep, ancient gear monsters are the default monsters that all Duel Academy students use. That's why Crowler will always remain a trans icon. And as he duels, Yugioh continues to see visions and realizes this isn't him, it's Yuto. He's experiencing his memories and anger at the sight of Duel Academy, and is trying his best to suppress this anger, but with no luck. Meanwhile, Sora and Shay are still dueling. That's it, we see one turn, I don't know why we even cut to them. Meanwhile, Dennis, not Xyz summoning, draws another card he could use, Polymerization, but seeing Zuzu is there, decides not to use it, and throws the duel. Knowing he's taking a fall, Selena of course gets angry, that's her only emotion really, but when Dennis is about to activate another card, he notices some shadowy figures and loses. That's when the shadowy figures reveal themselves, the other Obelisk Force members, who are here to take Selena back. Declan, monitoring the situation, sends 2 ninjas to save them, as the seniors from before intercept the Obelisk Force. Meanwhile, Aura is here, because she was watching the tourney at home, but since it wasn't showing Yuya, she decided to come find him in person. Where she runs into Gong at the ruins, and they do find Yuya, who's having a blast, not like he usually does, smirking devilishly as it seems he's taking pleasure in toying with the Obelisk Force. Meanwhile, in the stadium, we learn the Akibas are making it so no one leaves the area by saying that the city-wide arc system is untested and would be unsafe if people started wandering around, causing Skip to be suspicious. That goes nowhere. Meanwhile, back with Yugioh, due to pendulum effects I'm not going to explain, I'm never explaining them, he manages to change Rebellion to a monster with a level, and Xyz summons with his and Yuto's dragons, making a brand new concoction. So, you still following along? You doing okay? You got some water, some snacks? Hope you're doing well. Well, let's see how well you keep going when we add another character. Cause guess who's also here? Yugioh, who explains to himself, I guess, he's been dimension hopping cause whenever his Clearwing Synchro Dragon shines, he just gets teleported away randomly. And he runs into the bandit jobbers who mistake him for Yugioh. Meanwhile, Yugioh beats the obelisks. Meanwhile, Declan is shocked to hear the synchro energy is being detected, seeing Yugioh has appeared. Back with Yugioh, Gong realizes something is clearly not right, especially when he hears an explosion and sees Shay. But the damage from Yugioh's duel causes a pillar to almost crush him, and Gong, being the badass he is, saves Yugioh and pins him down before he goes even crazier, and tells Aura to go get some help. Meanwhile, to something I haven't even mentioned yet, Reed Pepper has teamed up with a fish guy named Trout to get pendulum cards from people. It does not matter, but Aura shows up telling Reed about Yugioh and that he needs the help, so Reed follows her and she drags Trout along too. They manage to get him to the jungle, and Aura uses her fortune powers to peer into Yugioh's soul, since clearly something seems to be possessing him, and says something quite interesting when she does.
2 souls residing inside my darling!
Hey, what now?
Wait, I'm also sensing a third. A darker, scarier presence. I can't be sure, but it's definitely there, and it's terrifying.
Then Yugioh passes out. I guess if I had to compliment this show, it's pretty good at foreshadowing. They just do it way too much. Meanwhile, back with the ninjas, annoyance number 2 continues to be annoying, and the red one leaves the blue one alone with them. I'm not going to tell you their names in this video, I'll tell you next time. Blue tells Zuzu about the Obelisk Force and that they're here for Selena, so Selena tells Zuzu about her whole situation. And we see Dennis eavesdropping from behind some ice. When Selena talks about how her comrades valiantly went into the Xyz dimension to do fighting and stuff, Zuzu asks if she really knows what they did, and she relays all the horrible stuff Fusion did that she learned from Yuto, Yugioh, and Shay. It was awful. The fusion dimension showed up and they just did hero combos for days. It took so long. Meanwhile, Shay and Sora are still dueling. I don't get why we keep cutting back to them for like a minute. Meanwhile, back with the annoyances, Selena does not buy what Zuzu is selling, saying Duel Academy is noble. Their goal is going to assimilate all the dimensions into one against their will with violence. How is that bad? So Zuzu educates Selena on World War II and the Axis powers. No, actually, what gets Selena to hesitate is that she mentions Duel Academy went after innocent people, not just duelists. Like Shay's sister Lulu, and to find out the truth, she needs to speak with Shay. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Yugioh wakes up as the gang there tell him about what he was like since he only last remembers the knights being turned into cards. And wonders about Yuto's last words with all that anger he had. Can he really bring smiles with his Exige dragon? Meanwhile, back in Snowland, Selena decides to go talk to Shay, which, this is what I was talking about, that they showed that this girl is so fucking full of herself and her beliefs that she ignored everything told her so far by Declan, Dennis, and at first Zuzu. And despite her knowing she also attacked innocent people herself, because they weren't from the Exige dimension, they were just random duelists, now because she's told by her twin that Duel Academy might be meaner than she thinks, now all of a sudden she's like, huh, wait a minute. Can my whole life and beliefs told to me since I was born be a lie? Nah, unless. Anyway, Zuzu says that they will switch clothes because if Obelisk Force is looking for her, she'll act as a decoy so she can look for Shay unencumbered. Originally, I was gonna mock this because, you know, there are quite distinctive features that set Selena and Zuzu apart other than their clothes, but she's trying to fool Obelisk Force specifically, who probably are not familiar with Selena and will go off the uniform and her face, if anything. So, it's still kind of stupid, but also kind of makes sense, I guess. So the two girls, now clothes swapped, head their separate ways. As Dennis, still hiding, sees a light shine behind him, and someone stepping out of it, and he seems to be pretty familiar with who it is.
Oh hey! It's you! So how's it going, Yuri?
Dennis is not just familiar with Yuri, he seems to be working with him. The two then see Obelisk Force already chasing Zuzu. Wow, that was fast. Who, if you remember, Yuri is here to get, and Yuri is upset other people are taking his job, and why are they chasing her? Dennis explains the clothes swap thing, as her and Selena look alike. Like he looks like Yugioh. Yuri asks who Yugioh is, but the two jobbers who don't matter show up, and Yuri, annoyed by all this, promptly turns them into cards, which Zuzu sees. Is even more shocked when she sees Yuri, once again mistaking him for Yugioh. Come on, Zuzu, besides the face, what about Yuri looks like Yugioh to you? Maybe you should be like me and identify people by their hair design. Zuzu, then remembering Yugioh telling her about Yugioh, thinks Yuri is Yugioh and starts asking him some questions. Yuri's a bit annoyed that she's playing 20 questions with him and says he's only here because the professor ordered it, and that Zuzu really does look like Lulu and Rin. And he does admit when Zuzu asks that yeah, he was the one that took Lulu and apparently this Rin girl he's talking about, and he's here to take her too. But Zuzu says fuck you guy, demonstrating her aura by doing backflips, and says she will duel Yuri first, which he's ecstatic about because he loves when people resist, gives him a reason if you know what I mean. Over with Dennis, the Obelisk Force are sad Yuri stole their thunder. Dennis tells them, well, for now, just stick with him, as he flashes a Duel Academy pin. Yep, Dennis is a spy for Duel Academy, revealed super casual. But honestly, I think they did that on purpose, because you might think Dennis being a part of Duel Academy, especially since the heroes think he's fine, will matter. It doesn't. Meanwhile, the seniors are getting their asses kicked by Obelisk Force, because, you know, they're not named characters. But luckily, one of those shows up. It's Yugioh arriving, saying he recognizes Duel Academy uniforms from the Exige dimension.
You'll pay for this. Who are you?
Yoko. You go. We go where?
Exactly why I didn't make the joke earlier. It's too obvious. Yugioh manages to beat all the obelisks, and Declan, who watched the whole thing, realizes that Synchro could be their allies and not their enemies. That's when Silvio walks in, mad Declan's been ignoring him, saying he's annoyed that they aren't showing most of the Battle Royale on TV, because he wants to see how far Yugioh will get. Declan says, if he wants to see, he can just go down himself, he'll allow it. Meanwhile, Yugioh's kind of bummed out that apparently Yuto's soul in some third thing might be kind of sort of turning him into a psychopathic murderer with no moral compass. And then, say it with me, he remembers his dad's words, and he's fine. Seriously, any solution to any problem that Yugioh has is have a flashback to his dad. I don't get why most doctors don't use it, honestly. Meanwhile, back with Zuzu, apparently she's been dueling Yuri all night. Yeah, by the way, since the start of the top 16, it's been a full day. More importantly, I want you to watch this scene that I'm about to show you intently and see if you notice the thing I noticed when I watched this.
Well, look what I found.
There, right there. Did you see it? Did you notice it? Here, I'll play it again in case you missed it.
Well, look what I found.
Okay, right there. You see it? For those that haven't gotten it yet, you just saw a character death on screen. Because it's right here that Zuzu Boyle dies. Not in the show, as a character. Because it's here, cowering before the might of Yuri, nearly brought to tears, where she stops having any agency. No, from now on, she will be nothing more than a plot device, used as motivation for the characters going forward. In fact, some of you may have noticed so far I have not used the women in Yu-Gi-Oh joke, even though I could have done it several times by now. And there's a reason for that. You'll see next time, because, oh boy, if you think any girl, main or otherwise from past Yu-Gi-Ohs, was bad writing for a female character, wait till you see what the artist formerly known as Zuzu Boyle gets into. So from this point forward, I will refer to Zuzu as she is portrayed in the show, because I'm not a bigot and I don't dead name. So it looks like Plot Device is about to get captured, but then her bracelet lights up and Yuri vanishes. Plot Device thinks this means Yugioh is here, but instead it's Yugioh. His arrival triggered the bracelet. She's caught off guard when he calls her Rin, and gets all touchy with her, and she's even more caught off guard when she sees he's another Yugioh clone. Aura's here too, I'm not explaining why, and she sees Plot Device thinking she's sleeping around messing with her Yugioh and this other guy, then she slips and falls and is knocked out. Meanwhile, back with Yugioh and friends, Dennis runs into them, mentioning he ran into Plot Device. So Yugioh explains they need to find her because invaders from another dimension are here, and Dennis acts like he's none the wiser. Either way, he tells them he lost Plot Device at the ice area, so they all head there. And they get there pretty fast, because we immediately cut there, where Plot Device's bracelet glows again, and Yugioh along with Plot Device are teleported away because they're touching. Yugioh thinks she's in another zone, while Dennis thinks Yuri must have gotten her already. So now all that's left is Selena. Meanwhile, back to Sora and Shay. Yes, they've been dueling for probably 20 hours or more at this point, which I know they combo a lot and Yu-Gi-Oh turns take a long time now, but that's just ridiculous. It's one of them playing that Gishki deck. Did I say that right? Did you Yu-Gi Boomers pog when I said Gishki? Well, after whatever they did, Sora wins, beating Shay, knocking him back and injuring him, right when Selena shows up. Meanwhile, back at the stadium, since Declan cut all the feed for the top 16 of the Junior League, they all instead watch the finals of the youth class, being Riley versus the other jobber kid. Meanwhile, back at the ruins, Selena tries to help Shay, seeing he's injured, and Sora mistakes her for Plot Device because of the outfit. Okay, Sora knows Plot Device. I just defended how this actually made sense as a plan. Then you decide to have someone who knows one of them personally confuse the two. Even when I try to defend the show, it makes me look like an asshole. Sora does recognize her as Selena because of her dual disc, not any other feature, and she escapes with Shay into the volcano area. But Sora quickly catches up, but he's intercepted by the Ninja Brothers, the red one staying behind to deal with Sora while Blue helps Selena and Shay escape. Meanwhile, Declan observing this says Selena is a powerful asset since Duel Academy wants her. Meanwhile, Yugioh and Gong look for Plot Device but no luck. Meanwhile, Reed and Trout find an unconscious Aura. Meanwhile, Dennis finds Selena and Shay and sends the last Obelisk Force members after them, saying things would be bad if they spot him, and he leaves. The Obelisk Force approach them, saying they want Selena and don't resist, and to her shock, Blue and an injured Shay defend her, and a 3v3 duel begins. I don't even care all this fucking noise happening outside, deal with it. Then Yugioh arrives, seeing Sora, who's ignoring him. Then Reed and Trout show up, seeing Selena's group in trouble, and go to help them. Then Gong and Yugioh see Selena and think she's Plot Device. Okay, she's far away from them. Maybe, you know, they just mistook. Fuck it, I don't care. It's stupid people mistake these characters. Same face or not, their hair and eyes are totally different. All of you need fucking glasses. Then Reed, sucks I guess, and loses to an obelisk and they turn him into a card. And no one even tried to stop any of that from happening. It's like, oh, you could just push him out the way at least or something. But nope, he's a card now. Pegasusy. Gong realizes they need help and heads to them. While seeing Reed get turned into a card and Sora continuing to ignore him, even beating the red ninja and turning him into a card, causes Yugioh to go full sicko mode again, and he charges at Sora. Then not only does Gong come to help, but Silvio arrives as well. All of the warriors are here. The ones that matter anyway. Then Yugioh catches up with Sora, but remembering the words of Yuto, not his dad, mixing it up. He calms down and challenges Sora to a duel, which Sora agrees to, saying he doesn't like the fact he lost to Yugioh last time, and they go to a cave to have one of their duels. Meanwhile, back at the stadium, we see Riley beat Jobber Kid by using Xyz summoning. Cool. Meanwhile, back with the other guys, thanks to Gong and Silvio, they managed to give Shay pendulum cards, and with him pendulum summoning, the group beat the Obelisk Force. Meanwhile, Yugioh tries his best in his duel with Sora to remind him of their friendship, and dueling for fun, like he asked him to teach him back when they met. But Sora says he has fun hunting Xyz plebs and winning, because at Duel Academy there's no other reason to duel than to win. And apparently Sora, unlike Selena, even knows about what happened in the Xyz dimension and does not seem to care. But Yugioh will not give up on him, despite Sora constantly telling him this is the real him, Yugioh's a protagonist, and says he will bring back Sora's smile, so he decides to bite the bullet and Xyz summon Odd-Eye's Rebellion Dragon like when he was possessed, but seems to be in control of it now. That's when Gong, Selena, Shay, Blue Ninja, Silvio, and Dennis with an unconscious aura see them. Oh yeah, Dennis joined them a while ago and Trout got Pegasusied as well. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with a lot here, okay? And seeing Yugioh summon a pendulum Xyz monster, he admits duels with Yugioh are fun and asks Sora to stop siding with Duel Academy, but he still rejects him. And when one final attack happens, both Sora and Yugioh reach for an action card when 12 o'clock noon hits and the entire action field disappears. Oh, I was right, it was a time thing. I didn't even remember that, I just guessed. This is when Aura wakes up thinking Selena is plot device and calls her a skank. But then Selena tells them all, "Look at my hair, idiots." And to their surprise, she's not plot device. She actually has autonomy. Not for long though, trust me. Realizing Selena's still here and plot device is gone, Sora teleports away back to Duel Academy. Finally, that's when Declan arrives, and Silvio says he got rid of Duel Academy like he asked, and he should be allowed to join Declan's Lancer program, confusing everyone else. And then it's kind of weird to me that here at episode 49 is where season 1 ends, for the dub anyway, that's where they call it. But to me, episode 53 is a better season finale, so yeah, I'll talk about the next 4 episodes, I guess. Well, luckily, unlike the top 16, not much happens. Declan and Silvio reveal this whole tournament was really a selection process by him to find Lancers, duelists strong enough to fight against Duel Academy. But Yugioh does not care about any of this because now his friends are cards and they think Plot Device was taken by Duel Academy, mistaking her for Selena. So Yugioh tries to punch Declan. Hey, sometimes duel-tating involves stomping out a motherfucker. But Declan tells them this was all necessary as he talks about what Duel Academy did to the Xyz dimension, and that if they don't join him, then the same will happen to their dimension, seemingly unfazed about all the people who got carded. Sorry, Pegasusied. And angered by Declan's seeming nonchalance at all this, Yugioh duels Declan. During the duel, Shay does confirm to Selena all the bad stuff Duel Academy did to his world, and yeah, she just switches sides, like that. I haven't seen a heel turn that fast since Shark and Rio. The actual duel is not that interesting, remember it's mostly Declan explaining his cards. But he does mention that he knows where Plot Device is, causing Dennis to panic, thinking he saw Yuri kidnap her, blowing his cover. But actually, Declan did see Plot Device disappear with Yugioh. He doesn't mention this though, thinking to himself that he's doing this because if he wants Yugioh to beat Duel Academy, he has to beat him first without holding back since he's the pioneer pendulum summoning or some shit. Who cares, none of this matters. Declan continues to beat Yugioh, taunting him some more about how Plot Device and people being Pegasusied, and Yugioh says he will save Plot Device by getting stronger, doing his big pendulum Xyz dragon thing, which pleases Declan, apparently saying this is what he wanted, and Yugioh goes all out attacking Declan, but he's streets ahead because he read the script, and using a trap card manages to beat Yugioh. Declan then says Yugioh can't save Plot Device as he is now, but has hopes for the future. Then he turns to the others, declaring them his Lancers, and to join him in crossing dimensions and stopping Duel Academy. And Yugioh screams Plot Device's name, saying he will get stronger to save her. Back at the stadium, the top 8 are introduced. Yugioh, Gong, Selena, Silvio, Dennis, Blue Ninja, and Shay. Well, those are the 7 of the top 8 that matter. Also, even Skip, Plot Device's dad, mistakes Selena for her.
Yugioh and Zuzu, they're both totally exhausted.
While some in the crowd notice the one outlier, well, 2 because Aura's also there, Silvio, because he lost in front of everyone. But he hates their jeers and says he's there because he's a Lancer. Everyone is confused about that when Henrietta appears on the screen and reveals everything about Duel Academy, multiple dimensions, the Lancer program, and as per usual with this, so far I guess, everyone easily believes it. I mean, they do show footage, but I don't know, some people should be skeptical. Is that not a thing we do anymore? Well, the propaganda works as even Declan appears, saying Lid will now be the Lancer Defense Soldiers, and they're recruiting, so come and fight to preserve your democracy, or whatever. After all that, Yugioh and Gong have a awkward conversation in more ways than one about how Plot Device is, not really here anymore. Now, personally, I'm not bothered. I don't think anything of value was really lost. But Skip takes the fact that his daughter was kidnapped pretty well. I mean, he's upset, obviously, and is like, I'll go save her, but that's about it. It's just that one moment. I mean, hearing his daughter was taken, you'd think he'd want to be a part of the Lancers or try to help in some way, but no, he just stays behind. Remember, this is really about Yugioh, and he says he will get stronger, get tougher, and beat the enemy so he can rescue Plot Device. That's when Yoko drags Yugioh away, telling everyone else to come with. They go to an abandoned arcade, and suddenly Yoko rides around on a bike in a stereotypical delinquent gear, chasing Yugioh. Skip explains before meeting Yusho, Yoko was the leader of an all-female gang, and they used to call her Loco Yoko, which, I don't know about you, makes her way hotter to me. And she declares her and Yugioh are gonna duel. And the Yugios think she's doing this because Yugioh was talking about dueling with violence, which is not the duel-tainting way.
Now a
I'm gonna rev things up.
And she's a 5Ds fan. Like, what more do you need? Why is there no hentai of her? Through the duel, Yoko tells Yugioh how she met Yugioh, that she went to duel some gangsters to save her friend that was taken. When randomly Yugioh showed up, I guess he just hangs around abandoned warehouses or whatever the fuck this is. And using his dual-taning, he managed to settle the conflict peacefully, and everyone was friends afterwards. And that's what got her to fall in love with him. And seeing Yugioh go down the path she almost did reminds him to believe in his dad. Even Yoko knows the one thing that gets Yugioh out of a funk is remembering his dad's words. And yep, through remembering what dad told him, the only solution to any problem in the world, Yugioh says he will save plot device but do it with dual-taning, not dual fighting. Yoko, happy her son is back, gives him the card Smile World, which is a card Yugioh used a lot, saying no matter what, Yugioh should never forget to smile. So, you need to remember this card, Smile World. I'm serious, no joke, it's probably the most important card in the whole show. Take notes. Yugioh declares he will not only save plot device, but put an end to this whole interdimensional conflict jiggy through smiles and dual-taning. And sad to say, duelists, that's it. That's the last we see of Yoko Sakaki, my wife. She'll show up near the end, but she is not in the rest of the show, the only reoccurring MILF in Yu-Gi-Oh! Can't have anything nice. Well, it's not just her, the Yugioh's, Aura, and most of the Season 1 jobbers we've met so far will not be seen for a long time, if ever, because it's time to Dimension Hop. As the next day, Yuya and Gong arrive at the Leo Corporation, where Silvio, Shay, Selena, and Dennis are waiting. And Declan arrives, saying they have one other member coming with, Riley. Much to everyone's shock since he's a kid, well, a younger kid than them. But Declan assures them Riley can handle himself. Shay does not like the idea of bringing a kid on the assault on Duel Academy, but Declan says they aren't going to Duel Academy. They sure aren't. No, instead Declan says they are going to the Synchro Dimension, saying they could be powerful allies against the Fusion Dimension. Shay has no interest, saying he'll go and rescue Lulu himself and can't waste time. But Selena says she knows Duel Academy, it's like a fortress, and he can't win himself no matter how angry he is. And that the professor seems to really want not just her, but plot device. And if he does have Lulu, then most likely he won't hurt her, since they all seem to be pretty important. And she agrees with Declan that they need to gain more allies. What's more, I guess Selena also read the script because she calls out Declan, saying he knows plot device isn't at Duel Academy, and he reveals he saw her disappear with a Synchro Summoner. But Declan doesn't really care about that, or about the fact that the Synchro Summoner beat 3 Obelisk Force members pretty easily, so that's why he wants to go there. But Selena reaffirms Yugioh that she also wants to save plot device too, since it's her fault she's gone, and addresses Shay once again, saying that they can definitely save his sister too, if they get that Synchro Summoner, and he reluctantly agrees to help. One question though, how do we travel to other dimensions? Did Kyrocorp also lend you one of those transdimensional transporter jiggers? Well, Declan, using Yuto's dual disc he grabbed, created Dimensionizers, patent pending, allowing their dual discs to not only traverse dimensions like Duel Academy, but also lets them use pendulums and action duels, as it's their one advantage against them. Shay is upset Declan used Yuto's dual disc and thinks Yuya has something to do with it, because he has his card. Yeah, wait, why doesn't Shay ask about Yuto? Aren't they friends? But then suddenly he sees a vision of Yuto saying, "Dog, relax, Yuya's cool," and he forgets it. Oh, okay, I guess that's the end of that. So with that, their mission is clear. Get allies from the Synchro Dimension and rescue plot device, as they all Dimensionize. I'm surprised they didn't have a stupid saying like that.
I've uploaded the coordinates for the Synchro Dimension into these cards. Insert them into your dual discs and activate them on my command. Prepare to port. Activate your cards in 3, 2, 1, go!
Now see, isn't that a better season finale? Too bad the rest of the season was shit. I hope you followed along, because I can tell you, I really did when watching it. I think having all that shit in the last 10 episodes would have been fine if it was paced better and not fit between all the dueling. Because yeah, you may have forgotten, I'm skipping a bunch of duels. And trust me, in between all of the plot, all the exposition, the new characters, and all that shit I talked about. Now imagine all that, cut between it is people explaining card effects. Yeah, it's way worse than you think. The thing was, despite that, I was still on board for this series when watching it. I'm serious. Because I was like, you know what, maybe that season was just an outlier. They needed to get so much out at once and, it got rushed, anime production's hell, and I was excited to see other dimensions, see what Synchro Town was like. And I'm happy to report that unlike this arc, the next one is much simpler to follow. Almost too simple. Like there's nothing to follow along with at all. In fact, the next arc, Arc 3 of Arc 5, is, I kid you not, the most superfluous 40-something episodes of this entire retrospective I have ever seen. None of it matters. You can skip it, because by the end of it, nothing will change. So join me next time, or don't skip that too, I really don't care, as we take a look at the most boring arc in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Friendship Cup. Hope you kept up maintenance on your duel runners and bought a nice comfy blanket and pillow. You're going to need it, trust me, as we rev it up one more time in the Synchro Dimension, and hopefully get through it fast.
Wakey, wakey. You snore pretty loudly. Spare parts are hard to come by around here.
And where is here?
This place is my home.